Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, where we currently have a deficit of energy credits. Now that is definitely a bit of an issue and we need to deal with that. So let's take a look at how we might want to do that. We don't currently have any jobs available really, so that's kind of an issue. Actually. That said, just getting access to Distal and the 10 energy credits there would solve a lot of that problem. Also, another thing that would solve that problem would be getting access to all of this trade value, and we do need to create ourselves a trade station. Now, we don't gather trade value in locations that only have a colony, but we definitely need to consider how far away the trade is going to be. And this is already 1, 2, 3 hops down here from Yedixa. And then we've got 1 hop, or rather 2 hops here and 2 hops here. So, I mean, we're only going to be able to gather the 2 hops for now until we can go up to a Starhold. That'll get us our additional module here, because of course we're going to need to build trade hubs to gather those. We don't have any off-world trade companies just yet either, so that's going to limit us a little bit. But I think let's go ahead and begin working on Yedixa here. We know that it will be, what, 4 hops? Or, let me think here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll be 6 hops. That is the maximum range. So this Yedixan colony here, this will be enough to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like to Bristol and to Ablopus here. So that'll be the idea there. The other core issue here is that we're currently at our naval cap. Now we can we can go over our naval cap if we have to, but I would prefer not to. There's some pretty harsh penalties for that generally, although usually just slightly dipping over the naval cap isn't a big deal. We could create 1 corvette and see how bad it gets. We're going to want a patrol force of like 3-ish corvettes. So that's going to become a potential issue. But we definitely want to grab our starbase over here, which we already are. And between these two, that's going to get us 10 total energy credits. And I believe it's only upgraded starbases that cost us... That may not be true. We're currently paying 25 in starbase upkeep. Now, there's this one here. Yeah, that's fine. There's this starbase here. If that's the case, that we're paying energy credits for non-upgraded starbases, then that is something that is new, and that kind of makes some degree of sense, because we definitely started off with more resources than I'm used to. There's no doubt about that. So that's good to know. For now, I mean, Yedixa Prime could potentially be a generator world, but it doesn't really have particularly good generator districts. I mean, nothing has amazing generator districts. We could simply build a generator district on this, on our capital world of Earth here. It's a possibility, but I don't think it's necessary. So let's just keep an eye on this for now. We're currently paying 25 per month in starbases, and when this over here finishes up, let's take a look at how much that goes up by, if any. I'm expecting it to not go up.
Achieved. Construction complete.
Okay, so we're not seeing it as having gone up. We'll probably have to wait until the month tick. Let's go ahead and do new research. We did get our basic strike craft. That's fantastic. I think we should do ion thrusters since we already have some progress there. Let's go ahead and get that underway. Research science station output is going to be done soon, and I do just like to get those early science gains ratcheted up quickly so that we can pull ahead of the AI in science.
Scientific breakthrough.
Fantastic.
Achieved.
So, mining drone lasers, or we could get... This is pretty much all combat. That's not exactly ideal. I guess we'll go for blue lasers, but I don't like it.
Debris analyzed.
It's fine, though. So, that's some specialized combat computer progress, as well as a bunch of physics and engineering research. That's fantastic. Absolutely wonderful, in fact. Okay, so we can check here now. We are at 27. Okay, so every non-upgraded starbase is costing us 1 energy credit per month. Every upgraded starbase is costing us 5 energy credits per month. That's good to know for planning purposes. Excellent. And we are over our admin cap. That's fine. Admin cap, I've always felt like since they introduced admin cap, we're kind of intended to exceed the admin cap. That's the technology cost growth going up as your empire gets bigger. It's not a big deal. Science officer Dmitry Zirov has returned from the expedition that studied the rich biosphere in the seas beneath the ice mantle of Turbik 5A. Our underwater probes have mapped the terrain and cataloged most of the life forms. Although this data may be of some use to our biologists, no particular discoveries have been made that would have any applications beyond that. Okay, so he just gains 200 XP. Sure, he's now level 4. That'll be fine. We're still excavating these archaeological sites over here as well. And we're going to move down to Turbik next. That is the obvious expansion point. Continued excavations near the hunting lodge. Hold on, Jeanette. Continued excavations near the hunting lodge have provided more details. Alpha Centauri Prime, and the Valley of Macvale specifically, served as a hunting reserve for the ruling warrior class of an interstellar polity known as the Retarix domain. The Retarix, a predatory avian species, periodically collected random individuals from the many subjugated alien civilizations under their rule. These aliens were then hunted down and killed in the wilderness of Macvale, according to the rituals that governed Retarix society. This tradition lasted several centuries until the domain eventually succumbed to an undefined outside threat. Well, they sound like they are proto-Ethiopians. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to continue on that, and we also found an anomaly. An object that reflects our sensors has been located in the Uproth asteroid field near HAL 1000. Visual observation has identified the object as polygonal in shape, but due to lack of scanner data, little else is known. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and research that one. That is absolutely fine. The game currently thinks Alpha Centauri is a rural world. It's not.
Scientific breakthrough
That is
achieved.
very, very definitely not. And we did just get society research from researchers. That's great. Off-world trading companies is going to be very valuable for us. So we're going to take that. That produces extra trade value for each trade hub and is very good, especially since we are currently working on our trade system. Let's go ahead and build ourselves 3 corvettes here. I understand that we're going to pass our naval cap. I want to see how much we're going to be penalized by that. I know just squeaking over the cap isn't particularly penalized, but the penalty ramps up over time. And we're absolutely going to need to have a patrol force here between Sol and Yidixa. That is going to be very necessary. The ISS Drake crew has recovered the reflective polygonal object near HAL 1000, bringing it on board for detailed study. The object's most intriguing quality is its ability to reflect most types of low-frequency energy beams directed toward it. High-frequency energy beams, however, remain unaffected, making the object's properties useless with regards to any potential fleet defense applications. Despite extensive examination, the ISS Drake research team has been unable to determine the function, or origin, of this peculiar polygon. It appears to be hollow, but its metalloid surface is engraved with some kind of scientific notation. Though the full meaning of this codified data eludes us, Jeanette Gerard believes it relates to wormhole metrics. Our research team was able to glean some fascinating insights into wormhole theory by studying these notations. Whatever purpose this object was created for, however, is still a mystery. We got an L-gate insight out of that. Sweet! That is very solid. We're definitely going to want to head into the L-gate in a while. We're not currently ready to take on the nanites. Okay, 5% increase for a single ship. That's already a little spicier than I was hoping.
Survey complete.
But that's fine. We'll build the starbase right over here, and we're just going to continue surveying over this way. And I guess we'll just queue this up over here, and then head out that way. Fantastic.
Construction complete.
Okay, so we just finished up the Udixa starbase. Great. So what we want here is a pair of trade hubs. Now, we're not going to be able to grab the 2 trade value in Foldora quite yet, but we're going to grab our 2 trade hubs and get those underway. So we're now 2 above, so it appears to be 5% each. Now that is definitely spicy, and we are not going to go above 23 naval cap, but I do want 3 corvettes, just because I found that's a good number for piracy reduction purposes for patrolling. Ship sensors are picking up an unexplained pattern of interference in the Uproth system. We'll research that. Fantastic. We don't yet know where our future defenses are going to lay, although Jasque Fomat is definitely a good location for that. That... Oh my. The ISS Lagrange has encountered a significant ancient mining drone presence in the Minox system. It appears to be a major mining and mineral processing hub, perhaps the last of its kind in the galaxy. Sure it is. So, this is dangerous to us. Very, very dangerous. Our science ship did manage to get out, so that's good. They're not going to leave, but we can't deal with that for a while. Luckily, it's not blocking us, and we can just move around it. Now, we are currently lacking a job on Alpha Centauri. Let's go ahead and at this time construct... We can't get a research lab. That's right! We can't do that. Let's go ahead and build a generator district then, to help out with our energy credits issue. We are going to need an agricultural world fairly soon.
Construction complete.
Theta aliens. Oh, okay. These guys are probably like the curators or something like that. We're going to assign our envoy, and let's get moving. Fantastic. So this construction ship is not doing anything. It should move up over here. This construction ship should get our research stations, then our mining stations. Just to clarify, the reason why I go for research stations over mining stations is because I just want to get those ticking in, those research points ticking in as soon as possible. We don't really care about the minerals, but the research points are going to be super useful. The ISS Drake crew has succeeded in isolating a signal embedded within the unusual pattern of interference in the Uproth system. The signal is a song. A complex sonification of an advanced mathematical equation, to be precise, and one that Science Officer Jeanette Gerard cannot seem to get out of her head. Who or what may have composed this song remains unknown, although its complexity infers an incredible level of technological sophistication regarding subspace harmonics. The signal's geodesics suggest a point of origin from outside our galaxy. Well, that's not creepy at all. Okay. Fantastic. This science ship is still missing. It'll be back next month. Something of a breakthrough has been reached within the Ethiopian scientific community regarding the extragalactic sonified signal one of our science ships recently analyzed. While the full meaning of the sonified equation embedded in the signal still eludes us, Ethiopian scientists on our home world have been able to match enough of the transmission's data on subspace harmonics to the technology observed in the mysterious L-gates. Examined in isolation, the signal is of little further use to us. Analyzing it in conjunction with other insights into the ancient gateway builders, however, may yield valuable data on how these L-gates could be reactivated. So that's a second L-gate insight. That's very fast. That is very, very fast. Let's hop into our situation log, which I can never remember which of these is which. You can do this, of course, and that's fine. I don't like the way that this pops around, so I usually leave it like this. Situation log is here. Of course it is. I don't know why I would think that it wasn't. Like, it's always been there, but we have 2 out of our 7 L-gate insights, and that's fantastic. So yeah, we have plus 15 maintenance right now, and we need to get our naval cap increased a little bit. But what we're going to do here is we're going to get these guys patrolling to Udixa back to Sol. And the reason we're going to do that, if we hop into the trade routes map mode, is because, as you can see, we do have a trade route over here. But I don't think we have any trade value collected here, so this trade route is not necessary to be patrolled. Because there's no trade value going over it, You can see this skull here. This is the only system where the skull is actually going to be, by the way. In theory, we could just leave this fleet parked in Procyon. And in fact, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's leave them parked in Procyon. And that's going to be the best place for them. Because if we look at this, we can see, because trade value is greater than piracy suppression, current piracy will grow to its maximum value in 3475 days. Great. So of course, piracy is not good. It reduces our amount of trade flowing into our capital and causes potential pirate spawns to happen, which isn't a good thing. So we're going to head up over here and survey. Something along the lines of that. We can see here that this is the only way out of this star cluster, so we kind of want to push over to here as quick as we can, just so that we can claim this entire star cluster for ourselves. Gotta love hyperspace lanes, and the limitations on travel that they create. Honestly, I kind of wish that Stellaris still had the warp drives and the, what was the other one? The wormhole travel. Yeah, those original ones were pretty neat. I particularly liked the wormhole travel. It put a pretty big limit on snowballing. At any rate, we've picked up readings of unknown nature. The signals seem to follow some kind of repeating syntax, which could indicate sapient origin. It should be investigated further. They seem to be concentrated around a single space station, although it is unclear whether this forms part of a larger spacefaring civilization. Fantastic. So we will proceed on that front. This system here is pretty much dead to us. We don't know anything about this, and we won't know anything about it for quite some time.
System survey complete.
The Uproth system has been fully surveyed. Fantastic. We're going to go ahead and build a starbase there. And these guys, they can head either north or south. We're going to send them continuing north. Excellent. And these guys are just in orbit around the sun here. And if we look, we can now see piracy is suppressed because we have 30 piracy suppression here in this fleet. Fantastic. And you can immediately see we're making a lot more energy credits. We can also go into our policies and switch our trade policy from wealth creation to consumer benefits. And I think I am going to do that. We can't change our stance for another 10 years. That's okay. So on wealth creation, every point of trade value earns us 1 energy credit. On consumer benefits, we're going to be exchanging half of that. So half of what we're getting from trade here, which is currently 40. So we're going to be losing about 20 and a half, approximately, of our energy credit gains. And we're going to be exchanging those for approximately 10 consumer goods. And I feel like that's a good trade. Now, I don't really care about Marketplace of Ideas. We'll get there with Unity. It's not a big deal. Scientist Conrad Schubert is deteriorating in health. He now has the substance abuser trait. That's not fantastic. But okay. I guess that's going to have to be fine. So we are, of course, going to gather what we can. We are still building another trade hub here. Fantastic. And as soon as we can, we'll build our off-world trade company here. We're also going to grab our energy credits and minerals over here. In the early game, these stations are our primary source of that, as well as our trade. In the late game, it becomes more along the lines of trade and districts. Unless they've changed that, of course. Life signs have been detected coming from inside the atmosphere of this gas giant. Could it indicate the presence of some kind of biosphere? Well, we're going to look. Archaeologists excavating the hunting lodge have stumbled upon several references to a legendary Redorax warrior known only as the Huntress. She was apparently their most efficient killer, renowned throughout the domain for having personally butchered thousands of aliens at Mekvale. It's unclear whether this is based on fact or fiction, but according to Redorax's legend, the Huntress was killed somewhere inside the valley when she was outwitted by the alien prey she was pursuing. She was supposedly wielding the fabled Blade of the Huntress at the time. Curious indeed. Well, we find a minor artifact, and we will keep pursuing the Blade of the Huntress. We now have our Yidixa colony. And honestly, I'm thinking that this should be essentially a farming region. We're going to immediately build a monument here, because I do like to have the Unity and Society research from that. Mostly the Unity. And we're also going to build an agriculture district immediately. Fantastic.
Construction complete.
Our surface expedition has reported back some astounding findings. The planet has multiple major cities, all abandoned but in quite good shape considering their age. The infrastructure and urban planning of each city is remarkably structured and harmonious, indicating a highly cohesive civilization driven by centralized, collective ideals. Perhaps even a Gestalt consciousness of some kind. Based on the architecture and interior fixtures, the species that built all of this seems to have been small fungoids with a fairly low state of technological advancement. Where exactly they all went remains unknown, and we'll keep looking into that as well.
Anomaly found.
Sensors report a shipwreck of unidentified origin has been sighted in orbit of Enif 1A. Okay. And we found the Commerce League.
An
Okay.
alien empire wishes to communicate. Ha!
Fantastic. I speak on behalf of the Regan Commerce Exchange. We've facilitated trade negotiations between interested parties on our station in the Enif system for more than 1,000 of your years. If you happen to possess more resources than you need, we are more than willing to take it off your hands. You will be duly compensated, of course. Of course. Okay, so we now have met the Commerce Exchange. That's fantastic. We can get strategic resources from them. There's also the Artisan Troop over here. We could patronize them. And they want 1,000 energy credits for 10% monthly unity. This early on, I feel like that's okay. We'll do that. Wonderful. Okay, so what else do we need to do? Well, we can settle this relic world, but there is a reason that I'm not doing that. There is a pretty major reason for that. It will be settled, but not yet. The ISS Yukon isn't currently doing anything, and it should move to Enif. We've discovered a thriving ecosystem in the upper atmosphere of the gas giant Drisk 2. Massive floating creatures having evolved bodies filled with lighter-than-air gases follow the wind currents and feed off the energy released by the gas giant's frequent lightning storms. These beings, in turn, support colonies of smaller animals that prey on atmospheric plankton and each other. Fascinating, and some society research available there. Excellent. So that is, of course, completely fine.
Scientific breakthrough achieved.
We did just get our blue lasers done, and research station output is absolutely what we take next. Automatic surveying is great, along with survey speed increase from automated exploration protocols, but I find that the surveys are already fairly quick. This doesn't make it super noticeable. I mean, it does speed it up, but it's not tremendously noticeable. I like to go for research station output for now, because with proper micromanage, it's more efficient to manually control the science ships than to have them automatically managed. Our crew aboard the ISS Lagrange report that the Enif 1A shipwreck appears to have been the result of an unexpected geomagnetic solar storm. The supply ship suffered a complete loss of life support systems and sustained inoperable damage, drifting until it entered Enif 1A's gravity well. There are no survivors. The ship's cargo hold does indeed contain a notable amount of minerals. However, the captain of the ISS Lagrange cautions that the construction indicates Telecuran design. You know, arthropoid Ethiopians. They are really expanding. Okay. It is highly likely that the minerals belong to the Telekur League, and they may be displeased should we lay claim to their shipment. I actually would rather have influence than minerals. We'll not risk an altercation. Fantastic. So we should be finishing up on these on these archaeological sites fairly soon. And of course, we are busily surveying over here. The science ship is kind of damaged. I didn't notice that, but that's fine. Ethiopians! You're also Ethiopians. Don't greet us as Ethiopians when you're also Ethiopians, please. Thank you. We've received word of your our downed supply ship's cargo. We'd like to extend our gratitude to you for taking the time to recover it without the need for Telecuran intervention. Our pleasure. So we got a favor, 20 opinion, and 100 influence. That's great. We're very happy about that. They're currently overwhelming compared to us. So there's that. They also have a mega structure up here, a ruined mega art installation. Okay, that's fine. We will catch up with them. No worries. Technologically, what are they like? They're equivalent to us technologically. Economically, they're superior to us. And we're not surprised that they're overwhelming to us in terms of military, considering that they had 29 ships when we saw them a long time ago. So, yeah. Definitely spooky. But we should be able to maintain our sovereignty without problems, and eventually, they will also become Ethiopian. And that will be absolutely perfect. In the meantime, however, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to continue our expansion and continue keeping an eye on our southern Ethiopian neighbors. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.